Epic 100.
So we're opening with that.
100 yards, a century.
Yeah,
I should have got balloons. I should have done a 100 with balloons, but...
Or maybe just one balloon.
No, I wasn't going to get 100 balloons. No. Like, I was going to get the ones, the 1 and the 0 and the 0. 100 episodes. It feels like... It feels like 100. No, it doesn't. Actually, you know what? It's come and gone. Like, what? Do you remember when Oprah had the theme song? What was it? 10 years come and gone so fast, I might as well be dreaming. Like, that's how it feels. Like, it's gone by so fast. Yes, we're at 100. It's incredible. It's exciting that we've made it to 100. It also just makes me feel like there's just so much more, because I feel like I haven't even started to scratch the surface on the incredible stories, on the incredible women who are doing phenomenal things in the world and whose stories we all should know, whose names we all should know. I think that's been the greatest thing that I've learned on this journey, is that there's so many women who are doing, and these are not necessarily big names. These are not necessarily famous names that we know, but there's so many women who every day are getting up and doing amazing things in their communities, in their lives, and who are really doing their best to impact the lives of other people, who are doing it for more than just themselves. And that's been the common theme, I think, that has been, in all of the people that I've interviewed, that for everyone, it's bigger than just about themselves, that it's about making the world better for other people, making the world better, having an impact beyond just themselves. And I think that for me is what, more than anything, I've learned about myself as I've gone on this journey. I've always wanted to tell the stories of other women. And initially when I started, it was just about telling their stories. But I realized that in telling their stories, that has impact too, because there's so many people who have contacted me, who have told me that they've watched an episode, a particular episode that has resonated with them, that has given them the courage to either leave a job or leave a relationship, or to start a new business, or to start a new venture, or to start a new career, or to do something in their life that they've always been afraid of. And that's the impact that I've always wanted to have, is that telling these stories isn't just about, oh, yay, that's cool, I told a cool story. It's about the impact that us being able to see people who look like us, or being able to see people whose stories resonate with us, and how that has the ability to inspire us to want to step into our greater calling, into our greater purpose. So that's truly for me what 100 means or symbolizes, is that, we've had 100 episodes, we've shared incredible stories, but there are just so many more stories to come. And what I also want to talk about is the fact that, yes, it's 100 and it's great to talk about the number, and it's a big number, but it's just the beginning. But I also look back to the beginning. I look back to episode 1, or before episode 1, where for so long I thought about this idea, I had this idea, but I was too afraid to step into it. I asked myself, well, who did I think I was to step into this? Who did I think I was to tell these stories? Who did I think I was to set up a platform and expect that people would watch these interviews and in some way be inspired in their own lives? And I think there's so many of us who let fear stop us. Fear is the number one thing. If there's one thing that I've heard consistently, whether it be in the interviews that I've done, whether it be from the people who have contacted me, it's fear. Fear is our number one enemy. It's the one thing that stops us from stepping into our greatness, stepping into our calling, stepping into everything that we were meant to be. And so I think about back to before episode 1 and how afraid I was. And I'll tell you this, I'll be honest and say some of the things that I thought would happen that I was afraid of did happen. It's been hard. I've cried many, many tears. I've, been challenged in ways that I could never have imagined. It's been an incredibly challenging journey. But at the same time, it's been an incredibly fulfilling journey. I've learned, I've grown, I've made friends, I've made connections, I've been able to work with incredible people on my team who have supported me in ways that I could never, ever have imagined when I started on this journey. And I think that that's one of the things that we all have to overcome is fear. I used to think that for the people that I admired, that somehow they didn't feel fear, that they just got up, had an idea, and just did it. But what I've learned is that we all feel fear in some way. And yeah, fear shows itself as different things. Sometimes it shows itself as procrastination. Sometimes it shows as anxiety. Sometimes it shows as anger. Sometimes it shows as, that pit in your stomach. Whatever that thing is, fear never announces itself and says, hey, I'm fear. It'll show up in different ways. And every time you're called to step into something new, something you've never done before, the fear will come. The fear is guaranteed to come. And I read a really beautiful thing, a beautiful author called Elizabeth Gilbert in her book, Big Magic. She writes a letter to fear where she says, I know you're going to show up. I know you're going to come on this journey with me. But here's what I've learned is that, yes, you're going to come, but no, I'm not going to let you drive. And so that for me in 100 episodes is probably the greatest lesson that I've learned is that fear will show up in everything that I've done, whether it be every interview I do, there's a level of fear. Sometimes it shows up as feeling excited or anxious, but there's a level of fear because I feel this responsibility to tell people's stories, that people are giving me their time to tell their stories. Or, as we've tried to grow this platform and to try new things and to go bring our interviews to new channels, every single time I'm afraid. And I'm learning, oh my gosh, I'm learning that I have to do it anyway. And I'm learning that, I have to face it. For me, the acronym that I now use is that I have to face it. F is for face it. I have to face that I'm going to be afraid. I'm going to be afraid. It's a given. The E for me has really become, I have to embrace it. I have to say, okay, you're going to come on this journey with me. How can I use this fear as energy? Instead of me being afraid of it, how can I use it to propel me? And I think also anytime that I feel fear, it's a sign for me that I'm stepping into my bigger purpose. I'm stepping into my bigger calling. And then the A for me has really become action. Because there's so many times and for so long, like this platform, I thought about it for so long. And for so long, I was thinking about it, but not taking action. And the only way that you get past your fear is to take action. You've got to take action. And I used to wait until I had everything mapped out. I knew all the steps. I knew where exactly I was going. Then I would take the next step. But no, you've just got to take action. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to learn along the way. And one of the most beautiful things I heard was Steve Harvey talked about how, it's like a parachute. You got to jump. You just got to jump. Take action, even though you're afraid. Just jump, and the parachute will open on the way down. And the R for me has really become about rejoicing, taking time to acknowledge the things that you've done. And that's something that so many of us are not good at. Actually, taking a step back and in this case, acknowledging that, wow, we have made 100 episodes. 100 episodes. We've put out 100 episodes in the last 2 years and being proud of that. And then the R too is rinse and repeat. Because whatever next thing I'm going to do, fear is going to show up and I'm going to have to face it, embrace it, take action, do it again. You've got to take action. I think that's the one thing that I've learned is that there'll never be a perfect time. There'll never be, one of the greatest brands on this planet is Nike. Just do it. I think we all want to wait until the stars are perfectly aligned and, I have the money and I have the education and I have there's this list of things that then I can do it. But that day never comes. And that's one of the things that I'm learning is that day never comes when everything is perfectly aligned. And so you have to take imperfect action. And the secret is to take action. And it doesn't have to be grand. I think sometimes as well, We think that, for us to be taking action, it has to be this massive thing that we're doing with the business plan and, projections. Sometimes it's literally just making that first phone call. Sometimes it's just having the courage to write that dream down, because there's such power when you write something down. There's something that happens when you translate what's in your mind through the power of your hand and writing it out. Sometimes that is the first step that you need, recognizing, acknowledging that dream that is in your heart. Because one of the things that I've learned from reading various authors, I talked about Elizabeth Gilbert and her beautiful book. She has this thing in her book where she talks about a dream is never given to you by accident. So anytime you have a dream or an aspiration or something that feels like a desire that you want to go for, that is no accident. We don't all get the same desires. Our dreams are all completely different. And even when, because I think this is one of the things too that happens is we compare and we're like, this person is already doing it, so therefore that can't be my dream. Even if somebody else is already doing that thing that has been put on your heart, they're not you. There are two people on this planet that are exactly the same. And so that dream and how you will execute on it, that dream and how you will bring it to life will be very different than the next person who has exactly that same dream. And so it's no mistake when you have that whisper, that intuition, that thing that tugs at your heart. It's no mistake. There is a reason that is being given to you. So you just have to take action. I love asking other people questions, but I don't know that I love being asked the questions myself. It's actually quite hard being asked the questions. But if you were to ask me, what is my greatest dream? My greatest dream for this platform is that we would be able to scale it, to grow it, so that we can have the level of impact that I know we can have. I want this to be so much more than just about us sharing stories. I want this platform to actually have tangible outcomes, for it to actually have tangible impact in communities around the world. And especially, as you know, being a girl from Zimbabwe, Africa is very close to my heart. I want us to be able to educate 1 million girls. I want us to be able to put 1 million girls through high school and beyond. I want us to be able to, in communities, actually create opportunities for employment. I want us to be able to create community, because that's one of the things that I hear all the time, is that we want to be connected to each other. I want to create events. I want to create events where we can come together to hear in real life from these incredible speakers, to be inspired by them, to be uplifted by them, and to actually learn from them, to actually have tangible lessons that we can take away. I want to be able to say I made a difference in somebody's life. I think for me, that's the biggest thing. Yes, I dream of big numbers, but I think if I can say that I made a difference in one person's life, if one person was inspired in some way to step into their purpose, if one person was inspired in some way to take action that they weren't taking before, if someone was inspired to make a difference in their community because of something they saw on this platform, then I'll feel like my work is done. One of the fun things that I get to do at the end of every interview is ask my guests some quick-fire questions. So the rules are simple. I ask them a series of questions, and they're supposed to not think. They're supposed to just answer the question. So I thought I'd do it for myself. So I'm going to answer those exact same questions that I would normally ask. Here goes. If I had to describe myself in 3 words, I would say, gosh, this is actually quite challenging. Ambitious, funny, charming. When I hear the word successful, the first person that comes to mind is, it'd actually be my husband, because I think he's incredibly driven, but he's also someone who has such a big heart. And for me, that's the definition of success, is someone who extends himself in service of others. My favorite book of all time has to be The Alchemist. I think it's A, such a beautiful story, and B, so inspiring about possibility. being able to dream big dreams and possibility, and how the universe will rise up to help you once you decide on a course of action. My favorite gift to give, other than the gift of my time, I love candles. I love to give candles and I love to receive candles because I always have candles burning in the house. So one day, I shouldn't say this, I'm probably going to burn my house down because I always have candles, but I love to give candles. What do I love to receive? Favorite gift to receive? I love the gift of people's time because I know nowadays people are so busy. And so anytime someone can give you, like really give you off their time, that's an incredible gift that you can never repay. So it's people's time. My favorite thing about the place I live, what I love is from my bedroom. So when I'm lying in bed in the morning, especially early in the morning, I can see the sunrise. And it's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful reminder to me every morning about possibility, a new day. And then especially like in the summer, the colors are just so beautiful. So it is being able to see the sunrise every morning. My favorite item of clothing. Oh my goodness. I love just being in sweats, like sweatpants and a t-shirt, probably my favorite thing to wear. My favorite time of day absolutely has to be early in the morning. I get up really early. Typically I'm up by about 4:30. And it's just that time where the world is quiet, everything is still. And I have that time to myself to just reflect. That has to be, for me, that time is magical. 2 people I'd love to have dinner with and why. Gosh, this is not meant to be an emotion. My dad. This is meant to be light. My dad passed away unexpectedly in June. And I'd love to just be able to have one last dinner with him. Just tell him how much I love him. And you know what? The other would be my grandmother. Both of my grandmothers, both of whom have passed away, to be able to tell them how much I love them. Thank you. And that was meant to be like a lighthearted moment, and I don't know where that came from. The last great meal I had. I haven't had many great meals. I can't think of one. You know what? The greatest meals that I have are my mom's meals. So I'd say the last meal my mom made for me is the last great meal that I had. My favorite meal or things to eat, potatoes. Anything potatoes, and even better if it's fried. It doesn't matter how, whether it's potato chips, fries, anything. Potatoes and fried. I'm your girl. What can I not get through the day without? Water. I drink a lot of water. The screensaver on my phone is actually a picture. I lived in New York for a few years, and I was walking down the street, and just in the middle of the street on the sidewalk was this beautiful art, and it said, "Fulfill your purpose." And so I took a picture of that, and that has become my screensaver and my reminder that I'm here to fulfill a purpose. My favorite app, it's between. Can you imagine every app that comes to mind that's a favorite is one that's a Mr. Zuckerberg app. So Instagram and WhatsApp, they're probably my 2 favorite. And I love the Notes app too on my iPhone because I take a lot of notes. Other than my phone and my purse, what do I carry with me every day? Lip balm. Got to keep the lips moisturized. Never know when you might need to kiss somebody. Ooh. The theme song of my life. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this one, I have two that could be potential theme songs of my life. Number one is Unstoppable by Sia. And the other one is probably going to surprise many people, but it would be Lose Yourself by Eminem. Because I love what he says about you only get one shot, right? In life, you only get one shot. So I'm going to give it my best shot.
That's the only good part of the whole song.
Mom spaghetti. I'm spaghetti. Yeah, I'm forgetting. Go so loud. Oh, come out. Okay, now. Oh, the reality. There goes gravity.
There it is. There it is. There it is.
What's my worst habit? I'd probably say procrastination is probably my worst habit. But you know what? I think procrastination a lot of times is fear. But yeah, procrastination. What I wish I had more of in my life, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time. More time, but more time with loved ones. I think for me, I don't get to see my family as much as I'd love to. I don't get to see my nieces and nephews as much as I'd love to. So it's not just time for the sake of having more time, but I wish I had more time with my loved ones. I actually don't like being asked questions. I find it so awkward. This is like being in front of a camera and being asked questions for me is really uncomfortable. I guess I feel how my guests feel. I love asking other people questions. I love learning about other people, but I hate answering questions. So there's no question that I wish people would ask me. Oh, God. Gosh, this is something I ask everybody who is a guest on Ndini is to finish the sentence, I am. And as you know, I named Ndini that because it means I am in my mother tongue, Shona. And I believe in the power of your words to shape your destiny. And so if I had to complete that sentence, well, I am completing that sentence. I am infinite possibility. And so I want to just say to you, thank you. Thank you for being with me on this journey for the last 100 episodes. Thank you to every single person who has sent me messages of encouragement on the days when I just didn't think I could carry on the days I thought about shutting this platform down, on the days when I just didn't know what I was doing. Sometimes I really didn't know what I was doing. Thank you for sending me your words of encouragement. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing with your friends, with your family, with your brothers and your sisters. Thank you so much for sharing all of these interviews. And I have to say thank you to the women who have given so willingly and so freely of their time to share their stories, to share inspiration with this community. And so thank you. Here's to 100 more episodes. Here's what I'd love to ask you as our community. So I want to know from you, who do you want me to have on the show? Who would you like me to interview? Who are some of the amazing women whose stories you would like for us to share on this platform? If you have any fantastic ideas, and even better, if you can connect me with them, please comment, leave your comment, or DM me and tell me who are some incredible stories I should be sharing on this platform. And the other ask that I have of you is for you to subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and share. Please share. If you find any of our interviews inspiring, please share them with your friends and family. Yes, everyone wants to see Michelle Obama and Oprah. I'm like, I'm working on it. I tried. Actually, with Michelle Obama, I genuinely, legitimately tried. Wow. Legitimately. And they said, They didn't say no completely. They just said she's busy right now. So I don't know when she's going to be less busy. I'm going to keep trying.